An extremely common question that I get, Michael, are the moderate and deluxe resorts really worth it over the value? And is it worth it enough where I should reduce the number of days I'm at Disney to experience those resorts? It's a very good question, and the answer is it depends on you. But in today's video, we're going to dive just a little bit deeper into this question and think about what you may want to consider when thinking about a deluxe, a moderate, and the value resort. Consider if maybe deluxe is the best choice for you, or if value is the best choice. There are a lot of factors to think about. The first factor to consider is the price, and generally speaking, the value resorts are about a quarter to a third of the price of the deluxe resorts. That can vary quite a bit, 5 times the cost every so often. The moderate resorts are about double the cost of the value resorts, give or take. So you consider 4 nights at the value versus 1 night at the deluxe, and 2 nights at the value versus 1 night at the moderate. That's just how I like to think about it. Again, those numbers vary quite a bit throughout the year. That's considering the least expensive room at the deluxe resorts, by the way. If you go to a concierge club level room with a Magic Kingdom view, forget about it. That's 8 times the cost of a value resort. Just numbers to think about. For those who love the parks more than anything else and want to spend all day and all night in the parks, the value resorts are my personal recommendation. But if you want to see even more of Disney and dive a little bit deeper into your resort, maybe explore the pool, some of the amenities, then you want to consider deluxe and moderate. There are so many different amenities and factors to consider, but let's just consider the pool. The pool at Pop Century is nice, but it's nothing extra special. Just a circular pool, swim around in there, not too deep, and that's about it. If you go and stay at the Yacht and Beach Club Resort, you can go to Stormalong Bay, which in my opinion is not just the best pool at Disney, it's one of the best resort pools I have ever even heard of before. With a sand bottom, its own shipwreck slide, and even a lazy river at the resort pool, it is easy to see why the Yacht and Beach Club is so popular, especially during the summer. Another big consideration between value, moderate, and deluxe is the size of the room. Now, for many families, this doesn't matter too much, but if you consider how big some of the moderate resort rooms are compared to the value, just think about the deluxe room size versus the value. There is a lot more space in the moderate and deluxe rooms. If you don't really care about that, then that's a factor you don't want to consider. But maybe you do. Maybe you have a wheelchair that you want to try and maneuver very easily through the room. Then you may want to consider a moderate and deluxe. Another big differentiator for me between the deluxe, moderate, and value resorts are the different dining options. During the Father-Son Flower and Garden Festival adventure, Dad and I went to Pop Century. We had a truly magical time, but when we first arrived to Pop Century after an extremely exhausting traveling day, we went to Everything Pop and Dining and got a pizza. The pizza there is considerably good, but if you consider the counter service and even table service at some of the other resorts, it really doesn't even compare. Just considering the differences between Everything Pop and Dining and the food and atmosphere at Sausagoula's Floatworks and Food Factory in French Quarter and the food and atmosphere at the Contempo Cafe, there's just no comparison at all. So it's not even a question of whether or not we would have loved to go to Contempo Cafe when we first arrived. It's a matter of where we were. We were at Pop Century, so we were exhausted. A lot of things were about to close. We're not about to hop on a bus at 8 p.m. at night to go to Contempo Cafe. We would just want food right there. So we got food at Everything Pop and Dining. That's just something to consider. What's the convenience of the dining locations? Of course, you can always take a bus to get to a different resort, but if you're exhausted after a travel day that took forever for you to get to Walt Disney World, the last thing you want to do is hop on another bus and head to the Contemporary Resort to grab the pizza that you love so much and then head back to your resort. So it's a matter of what you want to eat when you're there and how big of a factor is it for you. Before the Father-Son adventure, I never would have even considered the dining options inside the resort because for me, I just go to the resort where I want to dine. Like I'll stop by the Polynesian midday for a midday snack, or maybe I'll go to dinner and go to the Contempo Cafe. But now that I've gone through that experience of transportation days and it takes forever to get there, knowing that there's a really nice counter service location right in my resort is starting to become a bigger factor. In addition, there are some very special extra activities that happen at all of the resorts. At Pop Century, they have a scavenger hunt, which is really fun, but there are some resorts like Animal Kingdom Lodge where you can go out on the savannah and look with night vision goggles at the animals. Or maybe you can go to the Polynesian Village Resort, relax in the pool with a view of the Magic Kingdom fireworks. To me, those kind of special benefits are really valuable. valuable. And if you want to be there to experience those things at night and you want to spend a lot of time in the resorts, I do recommend Deluxe and Moderate. They do have a lot of great amenities. In addition to all of that, you also want to consider transportation. How do you want to get from your resort to your favorite park or to another resort? Do you want to take a monorail through the Contemporary Polynesian and Grand Floridian, maybe grab the Skyliner gondola, or perhaps take a boat from French Quarter to Disney Springs? A lot of great options, including the buses as well, but it's just another factor to consider. Now, I realize we've gone over several different factors of why you want to choose value or moderate or deluxe, but to me, I really base it on one key factor: how much time am I planning on spending at the resort? In my opinion, considering it using this one factor really does help. If I'm planning on spending every single moment I can at the parks, I'm going to the value. If I want to split up my time just a little bit, a couple extra mornings or evenings at the resorts, I might go to the moderate. And if I plan on spending a lot of time at the resort, then I'm going to pick deluxe. I hope you found this video helpful in considering which resort is right for you. Let me know in the comments below if you use the same tactic I do and consider how much time you want to stay at the resort versus how much time you want to go in the parks, or maybe you weigh it out using something else. Maybe it's a time of year or special occasion, or the pools during the summer and value during the winter. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.